What's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to our channel. We appreciate you clicking on because you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we thank you so much for it. Before we get started with today's show, we want to give a shout out to all our new subscribers. Thank you so much. We are so happy that we're getting a message out to everybody, and
clearly
we feel like we're doing God's work. So we're gonna continue to do that and continue to support them, and we appreciate you guys.
Appreciate it. We got some subscribers that we want to give a grateful big shout out to. Definitely in the U.S.
Yes.
I would like to give a thank you and a shout out to New York.
New York.
It's New York,
Number
the
one.
big city of dreams. Everything in New York is always what it seems.
You might get food if you from out of town.
That's right.
Woo! Thank you, New York.
Thank you, New York. Second is California.
Cali. California love.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm Cali from heart, even though I'm from Indianapolis. I always feel like I belong to California for some strange reason.
Thank you guys so much out there in Cali, all over.
Next is Texas.
Texas.
Everything big in Texas.
Everything big in Texas. And you already know, hold on, I'm trying to think of that song that I love. You know Pimp C. I love Pimp C and I love Bun B. Hey, that's right. Texas right there, boy.
And we got Atlanta, Georgia. Shout out to the ATLians.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying, in Georgia.
Everybody in the ATL.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, all y'all Georgia peaches.
That's right.
Thank you guys.
And last but not least, we give them the top 5. It's Florida.
Florida, yes.
That's right. Big shout out to Florida.
Shout out to Florida.
For those subscribers. Y'all tuning in. I appreciate everyone for tuning in. And
Oh, hold on, baby. I want to say we gotta say something too. For everybody in New York and Florida and everybody that's going through these torrential floods and stuff, we praying for y'all. We praying that y'all in a safe place, because I watched Sweet Ma's video and it just gave me all kind of chills. I was scared for that young woman out there getting stuck in that rain like that. So hopefully you okay, and you know what I'm saying, everybody's in a safe place, and we praying for y'all out there.
Most definitely. Prayers are up,
Yeah.
And we ain't just talking, we really pray.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Everywhere. Y'all don't understand.
Yes. Power of prayer.
That's right. And we're going to give also, to move things along, we're going to give a worldwide views top 5. I would like to also give a
world, Craig.
The world.
It's the world, Craig.
It's the world in this shit. You hear me?
This is so different. I don't know, but I love it. I love it.
I would like to give a shout out to our number 1 subscribers worldwide, which is the UK.
Hold on just a moment, David. I would like to give a special shout out to the UK, because everything has been all 6s and 7s with us. And we want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. I had no idea that our reach would be so far that it would touch the UK. I never thought about it. I mean, yes, I've watched Game of Thrones. I've studied your culture over and over. But for the ones that were raised by good moms, I just want to thank you so much for coming onto this page and being a part of what we're trying to do.
Man.
Right hand to God. Thank
big
y'all, though. Big shout out to the UK. Come on.
Big shout
Let's
out.
go.
Yes.
Let's go.
Canada coming in second. You know what I'm saying? Big shout out, Canada. Y'all up top.
Yep.
Big shout out to Drake for his album dropping.
Certified Lover Boy.
It
got me in there feeling like I ain't. Let me stop.
You know
that
ain't
right.
Yeah, it is right. You feel
but
it?
Hey,
we
from
love
Canada.
He's from Canada. You know what I'm saying?
We ain't gonna be fake up in here.
That's right. And I want to give a shout out to the Netherlands.
The Netherlands.
I never would have thought.
I never would have thought.
But I never would have thought. But they out there.
They out there.
And y'all viewing, and I thank y'all.
Who would have known?
Netherlands. Shout out to the Netherlands.
I never would have thought.
You know what I'm saying? Because they thought they in the Neverland, but y'all been at Neverland.
But I thank you guys from Netherlands. I need to read up more on the Netherlands. But I appreciate you guys.
That's right.
Yeah.
Trinidad coming in 4th. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my Trinidadians. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to you guys, man.
Yes.
I appreciate y'all. I love y'all culture, in Trinidad, Jamaicans and all down in that.
I love it.
All down in that
Tribe
area.
of Benjamin. We're gonna get into that.
To the tribe of Benjamin.
Ooh, we got something good for y'all today.
That's my tribe. You know what I'm saying? Also, last but not least, I gotta give a shout out to my Issachar brothers. That's a tribe.
Right.
My Mexicans.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? But
they in Mexico watching us.
Issachar. I'm gonna give it to my Issachar. Y'all tribe.
Thank y'all.
Y'all Jewish. Understand that. You know what I'm saying?
We're gonna break it down for him. We're gonna break it
that's
down
what we
for
heard
him.
today for a little bit.
So I guess the first thing I want to start off with is the signs of the times.
Mm-hmm.
The signs of the times.
Right.
And I'm gonna ask y'all a question out there because I've been looking into this. I want to know: have you guys lights been going off like randomly throughout the day, or when you at home your lights are just cutting off and stuff? That's the first question I want to ask the people because I've been seeing a lot of it. So I wanted to know, like, is that something that's happening in y'all area? I'm not talking about like when you're having like the storms and stuff. I mean just regularly.
For no reason at all.
Because that's the whole prophecy rolling out, and I think we're gonna start tapping more into that about that. So if y'all out there and y'all been having like your lights just cut off for no reason, and then they tell you that they know it's an outage. Something called rolling electricity or something like that, where they're testing to see like how we would handle stuff when everything goes where it's going.
That's right. They try to get the utility people prepared for major outage. You know what I'm saying? How many people gonna call? How many people gonna burn rush the calls? You know what I'm saying? How do we handle certain situations when event happen? You know what I'm saying? Global event happen, or local event, or state to state event happen. You know what I'm saying? They getting prepared. They doing dummy test runs on our electricity now, and I think it's going around worldwide. We want y'all to tune in if y'all had these situations happen to y'all, where just y'all lights just cut out for no damn reason, just cut out and then pop back on. They tell you, we about to fix it, and then pops back up.
It'll be up at 1:30 or something.
Right, and they give you a time. You know what I'm saying? And it pops on at that time. So I think they're doing the beta test runs on our electricity for a reason. So we staying abreast and paying attention to a lot of things that's going around on this planet right now, because we in strange times.
And you're gonna start seeing stuff more and more, because we what did he say yesterday about the last woe or something like that?
There were two woes. Well, there was three woes. He said one has happened already, and one is yet to come. And so one has passed.
Right.
One is happening, and one is about to happen later. And the woes he was talking about at the time, that people thought it was talking about World War I,
no,
World War II,
no,
and the World War III, which is coming. And that's not what he was talking about. He was talking about, because he couldn't have been talking about woe unto the Gentiles. He didn't want that wasn't a woe for him.
That wouldn't even make sense.
That wouldn't have made sense. So it couldn't have been him talking about woe, for that to happen.
Right.
That was something that's his get back. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And anytime he make the world go at it, he wanted, he wants y'all to, our Gentiles to suffer. So it wasn't a woe. Anytime he deals with woes, he's dealing with us.
With us.
You know what I'm saying? So to find out that the woes that he was talking about was 70 AD, when they had the first one was the scattering of the Jews the first time, when we were scattered, the first scattering out of the invasion out of Israel. That was the first woe. And the second woe happened with 70 AD, when they accused us of burning Rome. You know what I'm saying? Like we some arsonists, like we wanted to go over and burn Rome.
Like we Antifa.
Right, but they needed something, a propaganda, like they did 9/11.
Yep.
To go to go over and invade us.
No, like they did at the Black Lives Matter.
All that too.
So
they used, so that was the second woe, 70 AD, when they invaded Israel and ran us out. And I'm gonna tell y'all too that how God give us signs. You know what I'm saying? He always give us a sign. Jesus told his people. He said, "Hey, when y'all see a sword formed as stars in the sky, get out of Israel." So mind you, there wasn't swords for him to say. There wasn't a sword up. They look up there, they didn't see no sword. They seen that sword, and a lot of them, they didn't hearken unto it, and they stayed. And the Romans, came in like they do, propaganda, lie, just so they can come in and take over Israel. 70 AD, you know what I'm saying? Rome got burnt by their own people, and they came in Israel. They circled around Israel, and they invaded. That was the second woe.
And so now you see he getting it up to the point where how we are all scattered, like all around the world. All around the world. So we wanted today, because we need to make a connection with one another. We need to understand that it's not just the way that our parents raised us, because you'll see it a lot in like the Latino community and the Black community, how very similar we are in so many things, like the way that we was raised and just like all of that. We see the similarity and we don't know why, because because it has been a divide in those communities. Right. Which we're getting a lot better at, the younger people are. But the older people still hold on to some of those old racist things about Blacks and Hispanics. Right. And not knowing what you really a part of. So I don't know which tribe you want to go into first.
I'm just gonna start off with what they call the Negro Blacks here in America, which is the tribe of Judah. Those who came over here on the ships doing Atlantic slave trade predominantly was Judah, which are the Negro tribe here that came in on the cargo slave ships, and Benjamin came in on the cargo slave ships, and which Benjamin is the Jamaicans. Right. They came in the Caribbean coast. They dropped a lot of slaves tribes off, and they went on to the North America, and some got sent off into what we call Hades, which was the Levi tribe. The top 3 Black tribes got sent during the Atlantic slave trade.
And the Levi tribe is very interesting to me. And I wanted to get more into what's going on in Haiti, because the way, since I've been younger, I've only seen Haiti been treated, a lot of bad things happen to them. And it wasn't until, we started, I started getting to the word where I see that God had put a curse on them, because back in Egypt, they were considered the high priest, which makes a lot of sense. Right. Because look at the things that they do. Now, I have family in New Orleans, so I am very familiar with the voodoo culture in Louisiana and Baton Rouge. I'm very onto that, so it makes a lot of sense. And God didn't like that then, and He don't like it now, and they never stopped it.
He never stopped it, and He said He was going to deal with them for acts of cruelty. He said they were acts of cruelty within their habitat. You know what I'm saying? Because at once upon a time they were considered the highest of the highest, because He allowed them to deal with if you want to call it magic, you know what I'm saying? But it was in His name. They was able to do things. Moses was Levi, so imagine what he was able to do. You know what I'm saying? So imagine those people over there, man. They have the ability to do those things, but they doing it under acts of cruelty, and that's why He said He was going to bring them down to a point where He's going to bring them down so low, because He had them so high. And you wonder why something always happened to Hades. Well, He says the white man doing it. No, it's in there. It's in the Bible why they are eating damn near dirt pies. And they just had an earthquake, 2 earthquakes, and you got to follow the spirit. You know what I'm saying? Even though there's a lot of people that's in Hades, but there's a lot of people down in Louisiana that come from Haiti that are Haitian.
Understand that connection with Hurricane Ida.
I'm going to get y'all over here, and I'm going to get y'all over here, because I'm going to let y'all know.
You can't run.
And you can't run. I'm gonna get y'all.
And that's in the prophecy.
That's in prophecy. You know what I'm saying? But He said He's not gonna have them down forever. Right. Because they're gonna eventually wake up and understand and turn.
I wanted to tell them this, because some people will say, well, the Haitians didn't start suffering until they took upon Christianity. Anything, when you follow anything and you wasn't getting to the true word of God and understanding who you are, then you was gonna be punished. Because what we're talking about is not the same thing that they was over there pushing on them people. Right. So they can get them with the jab. Right. Okay?
Christianity is ran by the Roman Catholic. It's all followed by the Roman Catholic Church. The Sisters of the Catholic Church, which is you know what I'm saying, wrong. So, you know what I'm saying, either or. You know what I'm saying, where y'all doing it under voodoo or y'all doing it under Christianity. You know what I'm saying? It's still not, who you are as a tribe. Right. Y'all need to get back to what He said as a tribe and understand that. Get back to His name and who you are as the people on this planet. And also, I want to continue to get into the 12. So I gave y'all the Negro tribe, which is Judah. I gave y'all the Jamaicans, which are Benjamin. I gave y'all Levi, which is the Haitians. So I'm going to give y'all Puerto Ricans. The Puerto Rican is Ephraim. I made a mistake last time and said Ephraim was a cake. I said Manasseh is a cake unturned. Ephraim in the Bible, if you look it up, Ephraim was considered like a cake unturned, which is the Puerto Ricans. Really, Puerto Ricans, a lot of dark Puerto Rican, beautiful dark-skinned Puerto Ricans.
Yes,
You got
look
something
like me.
light. Then you got some that are real light skinned, and and they don't really.
They don't want to be black.
Considered
Period.
black, but the darker that's who y'all was at root core at the beginning. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got lighter for mixing with the Spaniards and different nationalities. He said y'all was a cake unturned. If you look at a cake that's unturned, it's dark on one side and light on the side. You still bloodline, still the same. Y'all still Puerto Ricans, and y'all still Ephraim.
Right.
At the end of the day, as a tribe.
And Ephraim and Levi are very close because
Dominicans.
yes. Oh, I'm sorry, the Dominicans. Because you got to think about when they praying to the Santa Maria and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? All that stuff falls into the same thing.
Yeah. We speaking on the Haitians. If you speak on the Haitians
I might be wrong with that,
and Dominicans, they on the same landmass.
Oh, okay.
And back
Dominicans.
when their father was giving the 12 their blessings, and he was giving them their attributes in the last days, mind you, he said Levi and Simeon are brothers. So why did he say that when all y'all was brothers anyway? He was letting you know in the last days y'all was brothers, meaning y'all gonna be next to each other.
That's right, and they are
On the same landmass. If you look at the landmass, you got Haitian on it. You got Haitian on this side, and you got Dominican Republicans on the other side. Simeon and Levi. Levi and Simeon are brothers. Why would he just say that? You know, so he's letting you know at the last days he gave a description of where you can find the lost tribes.
Ain't that how beautiful how God worked like that? That's why I'm not like people try to put out there like you're like a Christian reading the white man's Bible. No, I'm putting the puzzle pieces back together to know who our family is.
That's right.
To know where we came from for real and see who our brothers is and why everything starts to make sense.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Why we love each other's food and why we don't like their food because it's bland. And they don't they sprinkle a little bit of salt. That's it. We wonder why we don't like theirs because we're not brothers and sisters with them.
That's right.
So, let's talk about some more
Okay,
tribes.
so we got the Hawaiians. Believe it or not, Hawaiians they're Jews.
Look, come on, Hawaii.
Hawaii, which
Come on
Naphtali.
in. Come on in, Hawaii.
Naphtalians, which called the Naphtalies. He said that they would be, on the western islands. He said they were very beautiful, fair people. If you look it up, look in Genesis, he broke them down. How they was gonna be pretty, and they would meet you with greets of great spiritual greetings.
Like
Aloha.
what they call it, like saucy.
Aloha.
Like aloha. Very alluring, very inviting. Aloha.
They said they were beautiful people. You know what I'm saying? That's their Naphtalians. And if
They
you
got a
watch
beautiful language.
that cartoon Moana, they slipped up and dropped it in there. You know what I'm saying? So you got to pay attention to a lot of cartoons and stuff too. They be dropping gems.
Cause I heard it. Naphtali.
That's right.
Sorry, I watch a lot of Disney.
Then we get into the Seminoles. The Seminole Indians were the Reubens. We look up John Horse and his rebellion. He gave them one of the greatest rebellions down there in Florida and all down southern, and they end up migrating down to Mexico. You know what I'm saying? One of the biggest great revolts, bigger than Nat Turner's later. Nat Turner, it was even greater than his. What he was doing, he was getting Indian tribes and the tribe of Judah at the time were slaves because they didn't know that there were black tribes. They didn't even know which one were Indians and which one was the one they enslaved and brought over. They just put them all in the bunch. You know what I'm saying?
They all black.
They
like
all
they
black.
like they do now.
And took their rightful heritage over in North America away and gave it to the fair skinners, what they slept with, and migrated those into those Indian resorts that we see today. A lot of them. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them are also. We want to get to the second. The next one is Issachar, our Mexican brothers.
Yes.
A lot of those, a lot of them are half Mexican, half black too as well. Understand that, but Issachar is the Mexicans.
Yes.
He said that would be crouched between two asses. You know what I'm saying? Burden, and they would work. You know what I'm saying? For a little bit of nothing. You read about Issachar, and also Issachar was a timekeeper.
Like the Mayans.
Like the Mayans.
And then you
Exactly.
think about them working hard,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying? They are the hardest working people, and that was God's thing to them. They that's just what's in them, to
Right.
be hard workers.
Hard workers, right.
And then when they relax and have a fiesta.
And yes, and have a beer.
But
too.
them are our brothers as
those,
well.
They're part of the tribe. And he said they were timekeepers
Mhm.
for the 12 tribes to let them know what time it was. If you look it up in the Bible, look up Issachar and look them up. They were timekeepers. That's why the Mayan calendar count was so like accurate and so, because they were our timekeepers.
Mm-hmm.
You
Make
know
a
what
lot
I'm
of
saying?
sense to me.
And okay, we're gonna move on to the North American Indians with the tribe of Gad.
Very important.
Very important because they came in under Manamusu, one of the richest men that ever lived on the planet.
I think you touched on him.
I touched on a little bit. Yeah, he sent over 200 ships to go that way, which was west.
Mm-hmm.
And he sent Gad over, and they never came back. You know
And
what
so
I'm saying?
where were they at then?
They came over to the north, what they call, and the Bible said they came into a land where no man dwelt at that time. It wasn't nothing but just animals over here at the time. And they came over and you know, that's where you get the tribe of Gad. Tribe of Gad also still was practicing Hebrew traditions, even though they were enslaved a little bit during the Assyrian captivity for 3 years. So a lot of them still had that Muslim and that other their tradition upon them, but they still kept the legacy of being Israel. You know what I'm saying? Because if you look at their rain dances and different ceremonies, they will call on a higher Shia, a higher. You know what I mean? So you know those are Mexican brothers. You know, I mean those are Gad. You know what I'm saying? The tribes. You know what I'm saying? That was over here, and it was a lot of different types of tribes that tribaled up over here, all up and through Canada.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's the first thing we all need to understand, is that we all are all connected.
That's
because
right.
it might be a time where you might need one of them brothers, and
That's
to
right.
know that we don't gotta have that hatred towards one another.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Or not even hatred, just seeming like we ain't all coming from the same thing. You know what I'm saying? We were scattered about, and it's time for us to get back to knowing who we are and being, you know what I'm saying, being able to fellowship with each other and not seeing you as a distant stranger, as Tupac would say.
That's right.
But we got some more we gonna give to you guys.
We got Brazilians. Our Brazilians, they're Jews. Our Brazilians, you know what I'm saying? Brazilian is Asher. If you look up Asher in the Bible, that's Brazilians. And
I love Brazil.
And the Panamanians, Colombians. The Colombians,
y'all in it too,
are Zebulons. They are a tribe. Understand, man. God, you know what I'm saying? Y'all think that they were lost, you know what I'm saying? But he said in the last days, you know what I'm saying, they're going to reveal who we are on this planet. And why you think they was going so hard at all these different people, you know what I'm saying? In Venezuela, they after their oil. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because he said that they would have their feet stepped in oil, you know what I'm saying, in those times. They would be standing in oil.
But y'all also see who's not included, don't you?
I don't see no Asians.
Not included.
I don't see no white men.
Not included.
But they in the land.
They in the land.
They in the land. But
and if The Rock wasn't my cousin, I'm sorry, baby. I know we serious, but if The Rock wasn't my cousin, could I do this?
What's that? Damn.
Naphtali.
Put
that in there.
Naphtali. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so.
Yeah. I think that was pretty good.
That's
you know,
pretty good.
For
You know
beginning, you know, we gonna have a link to GOCC, cause he really broke it down, and David he gonna put the link all in there.
Yeah, I'm gonna put the link at the bottom once we, you know what I'm saying. I'm gonna have you guys. Y'all gonna look it up for yourself. They go in great detail.
Yeah.
And great dialogue on a lot of the tribes, and even break it down clearly. So that's why you always saying the white man. That's the white man's Bible. No, it's not. If you look at it, if you look at those tribes, the way it's broken down in the Bible, and understanding who's the Jews and who's the Gentiles, you would take away that Gentile mentality, and even take away that it's a white man's Bible.
You would.
You know what I mean? You would, trust me, because right now I was looking at it like, just because they had the Bible,
right,
they steal everything.
Right.
So what you think they went and take God's word and twist it? He said, if any man add or take away, he gonna add to let you know
The
somebody was
bigger
gonna be
question
added.
is why would they do that? Because they know what it says about them in there.
That's right.
And
So
they don't have no promise to
we ain't
them.
got no promise. So what we gonna do? We gonna steal the promise. Matter of fact, we gonna steal the land. He said they was gonna be trying this land until until what's land? That's when the gathering of the people shall be.
Mm-hmm.
He said that's when we try this land until he come back. The Gentiles. Who's the Gentiles? We ain't over at trying the land. Who's over trying the land right now?
We ain't trying no land. The Asians, they over there raping Africa for all that it got. Excuse that, you know.
And who's over now in Israel?
And
Esau.
who's coming over
All
here?
that.
Who are they flying all over here?
Afghanistan.
That we already done seen in our neighborhoods. We see them setting it up.
Yep.
We been seeing it. Now they flying thousands of them in
I
here.
understand this play. There's a play about to play.
We gonna go into that tomorrow. So
That's
y'all either tomorrow or Tuesday.
Right.
But y'all tune into that. But
So I gave y'all a brief dialogue on the 12 to understand who we are, man, how beautiful we are as people. All different types of us, you know what I mean,
Yes.
as the 12 tribes on this planet. And understanding, man, that we're gonna have to come together in these dire needs and time that's coming forward.
in these times,
In
we
these last
definitely
days, man, we got to come together
we need to
and
talk
understand
about
who our
life.
brothers are and waking up the people, the masses.
Yes.
Yeah.
We got to. Because these is not the time. It's not like what you think. It's getting ready to be backpack time. It's getting ready to be flashlight time. And that's why I wanted to reiterate again. If you guys been experiencing that stuff, let me know. Or any kind of stuff like that. Because I just want to make it all make sense. But again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. That was just, a little brief thing to get y'all on the lesson to learn about the 12 tribes and understanding who we are. And we love all y'all for listening. And as we always say, do unto others
As you want done unto you.
We about to go eat some more of this good country soul food I cooked tonight. Peace out.
Peace out.